Yeah, welcome everybody. 6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Friday, May 10th, 2019, 36 degrees outside. Tommy Gohoff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Matauban, my co-host, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia. How you doing, man?
Well, not on Fridays because, I'm just sort of excited to have the week finish. It's just too overwhelming. Yeah, every day is just too overwhelming for me now.
There's a lot going on, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm so full of adrenaline after we finish the show. I can't, I'm good till like 8 o'clock at night.
Well, same here. Yeah, it gets pretty fun with all the shenanigans going on in Washington and in Helena and Bozeman and everywhere else that we reach. So we're happy to have you along with us for the morning, and we're always happy to have you here. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Quick look at our Gallatin Valley weather. Well, the rain keeps sticking around a little bit, Shane, but scattered showers here and there, 25% chance late afternoon, early evening, but tapering off. 59 will be our high today, 38 the overnight low, less than an inch of precip. And 64 on Saturday. They dropped that a little bit. It was pretty close to 70, I believe. So that's come down some. Mostly sunny. 39, almost no chance of precip. And then on Sunday, pretty nice. 73 degrees on Sunday. 43 the overnight low. Partly cloudy. No rain in the forecast there. And on Monday, 73 degrees and 45 again. Partly cloudy. A little chance of rain late in the afternoon, early evening. And then on Tuesday, 71 and 44 will be the overnight low and partly cloudy. No rain in the forecast there. And again, 72 on Wednesday. So looks like a pretty nice week and weekend for us, Shane, going along
well, there you
here.
Go.
Yeah, pretty nice.
We're doing good here. We had a low of 62 degrees overnight and a high expected day of 84.
Wow, holy smokes. How come you have all great temperatures and you're way north of us? I mean,
it's called a Canada. It's called a Canada high.
Canada high, yeah.
Because we legalized pot like
I know. I was going to say, I don't know. Give us the metric temperature. That's like 20-something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 27. Yeah.
27 to be the metric. Yeah, there you go. That sounds better. Temperatures around the area right now. Livingston's 32 degrees. Manhattan is 31. Three Forks is 30. Gallatin Gateway is 33 and partly cloudy. Ennis is 28. Gardner, 25 degrees and partly cloudy. Big Sky is 24 degrees there. At the airport in Belgrade, it is 31 degrees currently, and at our downtown studios, it is 36 degrees at 9 minutes after the hour. And looks like a beautiful week shaping up. Nice weekend. Get out and do some stuff. Have some fun.
Yeah.
Go out and do some things.
It's a nice weekend. And Mother's Day. Now, remember, gave everybody a heads up a week ago.
That's right.
Call for that Sunday reservation. Busiest restaurant day of the year, everybody.
That's right.
Happy Mother's Day to every mother out there in the lands.
That's right. And all you other mothers have a good day too, I guess.
And any other mothers, yes.
That's right. 1774 on this date. Louis the 14th, 15th, 16th. Got to get my Roman numerals in order. Louis the 16th ascended the throne of France. So there you are.
Yeah, amazing story. It's sort of a contrast and confusion because, it was Louis the 16th that authorized his navy to go to North America and lock up the English at Yorktown. And what does he get? He gets arrested, and they called him Citizen Louis Capet for the 4 months before he was guillotined. So I mean, his death was in 1765. Not a good thing.
What a nice guy! Came over to help us, and they cut his head off.
And they cut his head off, baby. Yeah. Then they came through. The great time after that of. The guillotine and the citizenry and Robespierre until Napoleon. So
that's right.
That. There you go.
It went from bad to worse.
It did go from bad to worse, yeah.
Well, in 1775, Ethan Allen and his Green Mountain Boys captured the British-held fortress at Ticonderoga, New York.
Amazing guy. born in 1738. I love these dates.
Yeah.
You know, he did die a young man at 51 at that time for someone of his recognition, but born in rural Connecticut, and you know, had a frontier upbringing and self-educated, and like you said, he formed a group of Green Mountain boys. They were farmers with long guns, those long-barreled guns. They could fire a long way away. It was a pretty cool thing he did in 1775, and it helped lift up the you know, the fortunes of the revolution. So good guy, good guy.
And nice furniture named after him too, Ethan Allen Furniture.
Somebody tagged the name and made money.
I guess so. Well, in 1865, Union forces captured Confederate President Jefferson Davis in Irwinville, Georgia. The war winding down, Shane.
That's right. They caught him on the run.
Yep.
He wasn't really in favor of secession as a Democrat, but he was a Democrat of the South, and you know, he married Sarah Knox Taylor in 1835. He was only 27 years old, and he was a remarkable guy in you know, that he had to deal with what he had. But amazing thing, December 6, 1889, he died at the age of 81.
Wow.
I think he spent the rest of his days, you know, on a front porch somewhere in the South, I would say.
I would guess, yeah. Well, 1869, a big day on this date. Golden Spike was driven at Promontory, Utah, making the completion of the first transcontinental railroad in the United States. That was quite a big deal at the time. People could travel from coast to coast.
It opened up the continent to mass transportation for mail and goods and gold, and it changed everything. But the best part was the Union Pacific number 119 and the Central Pacific number 60, better known as Jupiter, because it was the first big steamer to get over the Continental Divide, so they called it Jupiter. Yep, 3,000 people showed up for the event, and boy, pretty amazing story when you know that, you know, this was the beginning of, I guess, what you would say, the Industrial Revolution in the United States, really, because.
Well, it changed. It changed everything because heavy things could be transported, machinery for farming and everything could be sold and put out in the Midwest and
in the
through
prairie,
there,
you know.
Through the prairie, and it was quite a big deal. So.
I mean, the production of grains in the United States increased by 100-fold because of the giant steam engines and everything they could use in the fields instead of horses. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, on this date in 1899, actor, dancer Fred Astaire was born in Omaha, Nebraska. So quite a talent he was. He and Ginger Rogers. And
boy, were they famous. He's 76 years in the industry, 10 Broadway shows, London musicals, 31 musical films of dance, and 4 television specials. So he was one of the big rockers in Hollywood, and died at the age of 88, June 22nd, 1987.
Wow. 14 minutes after the hour, let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. If you want to be on the big broadcast today, caller, you are on the air. What's your name? What's up?
This is Montana Tom.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you doing? Hey,
living my dream, man. Living my dream here.
Yeah, you too. Hey, Shane, how you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. It's Mother's Day weekend. We all have to be happy about this because we all have mothers, right?
Yes, we love our mothers.
There you go.
Listen, the Civil War is what started the Industrial Revolution.
Well, to a certain extent, that's true.
They had to make everything.
Yep.
From
the North did,
to guns.
Yeah, but the North was industrialized. South wasn't. That was the big drawback, and everything they needed to fight the war, they had to have imported. So it made it very difficult for them.
That's what did the South in, is they didn't have manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Or rail lines. You know, they only had rail lines. For along the coast for their cotton to get to market principally.
Yep, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys go. That's all I wanted to say.
All right.
Well, you have a great weekend.
All right. Hey,
You
thanks for the
too.
call. All right. All right. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more This Day in History. Things you got to know about history.
Gotta know, baby.
Got to know these things, man. I mean, we're destined to repeat them.
Yeah, that's right.
Otherwise, otherwise another dancer will be born or something,
It sounds like, yeah.
Well,
exactly.
South may rise again. We'll be right back. 22 minutes after the hour. It is Friday, May 10th, 2019, 35 degrees outside. Shaman Taubman, my co-host, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia, and Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house, and welcome you to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And on this date, Shane, in 1908, the first Mother's Day observance took place during church services in Grafton, West Virginia, and in Philadelphia. So
That's right. Anna Jarvis in 1868 organized a committee to establish Mother's Friendship Day, which was organized to improve the sanitation and health of both Union Confederates and encampments.
Right.
But it's also to bring families together that had fought in the war, because a lot of families had been divided over the Civil War. Interestingly enough, though, it did, like other things, it was a guy, Frankie Herring, administrator of the University of Notre Dame, and the president of the Fraternity Order of Eagles, suggested that Congress should, memorialize it, and they finally did, of course. The U.S. Congress on May 10th, 1913, the House of Resolution passed a resolution calling on all federal government officials, from the president down, to wear a white carnation, honoring mothers. And the following day, in observance of Mother's Day. And then on May 8th, here it comes, 1914, U.S. Congress passed a law designating the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day and requesting a proclamation. So there you go, folks. It was official. May 10th.
May 10th.
1930.
All right. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, thanks for waiting. What is your name and what's going on?
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
And I want to chastise you a little bit, and then I want to tell you a story of a random act of kindness yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, so for the chastisement, so the Civil War is when two factions of one country fight each other for control of that nation.
Right.
That's not what happened with Lincoln. Lincoln went and attacked a country that seceded from the United States. So they weren't fighting over control. The South seceded, and that's what that war was. So it was, and the South calls it the War of Northern Aggression, and which it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not a civil war.
Yes, it was.
Well, it was
Not
a war.
by definition.
It was a war of secession too, of course.
Well, of course
Right.
it was.
it went by both names. So when I was in,
I don't believe so. I think if you define the word civil war, it tells you that it's a war fought between two factions over control of a country.
Yeah. Well,
That's not what happened.
Yeah, when I went to school in Texas in the 60s, which was less than 100 years after the Civil War, I was referred to as a Yankee, being from Illinois.
Right.
So,
Right. I know you were there at the Civil War.
I was.
And,
I remember where I was when Lincoln was shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do understand that you have a firm affinity for Lincoln since you were there when he was shot, but it doesn't change the fact that a civil war is when two groups fight for control of a nation, and that's not what
true.
happened.
That's true. All right.
So
we stand chastised then.
Okay,
Thanks,
the good-
Aaron.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I finally won an argument on your radio show. That's something else that happened this day in history.
Well, good. We'll mark that down. Next year we'll point that out. Aaron won an argument. Aaron won an argument on KMMS. Remember this day.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we'll put out flags, banners down Main Street.
Oh, sweet. My life is fulfilled. All right, so here's the random act of kindness. Yesterday I had some tire troubles on my van, right?
Yeah.
So I had to take it into Belgrade there at the Interwest or Interstate, whatever that tire shop is down there.
Yeah.
South of the interchange.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the lobby, and I was actually reading that article on my phone that Clint brought up about the wolves, that Range article.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Range. Rangemagazine.com. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was reading that article that he mentioned, and this little young early 20s, maybe even late teens. She walks in. She's got little black hair, you know. She's got little piercings in weird places on her face, and you know, kind of a cute little thing, whatever. Little kid, you know, nice dress, look presentable, nice kid. She goes in there, she goes to the counter, she does her thing, and she sits down. And I'm reading this magazine, and out of my peripheral, I noticed there was a commotion. And I looked up, and that girl had jumped up out of her chair, and she ran across the lobby, and she was running for the door, and she opened the door. She held the door open as wide as it would go, and in walked this little, maybe a 3'4" old lady. And I thought, oh, that must be her grandmother or something. She must have been here waiting for her. And it wasn't. The little old lady went up to the counter, did her business, sat in a totally different section in the lobby. But that millennial kid got up and opened that door for that lady. I got to tell you,
that's impressive.
It was impressive, man. And it actually, I wanted to, you know, say something, but it's like, man, I shouldn't have to. We should all have gotten up and held that door for that little old lady. Yeah. But I don't think, you know, everybody was kind of preoccupied in their phones or magazines, whatever they were doing. But
sure.
Yeah, it made me want to be a better person yesterday.
Well, good.
It really did.
All right.
Yeah, and I just wanted to tell you that.
Well, all right. Well,
you guys have a good day.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, these random acts of kindness sometimes, you know. As you know, Shane, I wear my Vietnam vet hat a lot, so that
yes, you do.
That certainly, you know, I don't want to not open a door for somebody or not get out of the way of someone or not let them go ahead of me or whatever, you know, because I don't want to say, yeah, this nasty vet I met in the Walmart what a jerk.
Well, yeah, but you're sort of having an obligation to open the door because you're a very big guy. No one can go through a door with you.
I know.
You got to go through alone.
That's right. Yeah, there you are. So.
I'm skinny as a rail, so I can share the doorway with someone.
There you go. All right, we got to pay some bills here. Bottom of the hour coming up. Montana State News, Fox News, Brooke Foster Weather, Jacobus, Cashman Nursery. Wow, we got it all. Murdoch's, we got it all, man. So stay tuned. There's a lot to do today. Jennifer Bordy will join us at 8 o'clock. Hey, don't forget our app, our phone app. It works. AM 1450 KMMS. Sign up for our phone app. You can take us with you anywhere you want to go. And it's a great addition to being able to access news. And we have alerts if there's school closings or road closings or emergencies or anything like that. You can get an alert on your phone, and it's pretty handy. So we'll be back with more right after the news at the bottom of the hour. 22 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Friday, May 10th, 2019, 37 degrees outside. And Shane, the phones are ringing off the hook, so let's take some calls. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. If you want to be a part of the big broadcast today. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
We need a poll.
Okay.
A poll.
All right.
Who do we want for the morning guy? And they have to let us listen to whoever they're going to interview, you know, like a 1-minute intro or bio or something from the person.
Yeah.
And then put the 5 names on there, including yours, and let the listeners decide.
Well, I could certainly present that to the powers that be. I don't know if that'll work, but
hey. double Mother's Day wish to you, dear.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like this. We listen to you guys all the time.
Sure.
I listen to you for the whole 3 hours every day. And I'm sure a lot of other listeners do too. And I think we should have a little bit of say in who we have to listen to.
Well, I'd like that.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, I mean, if there was 5, at least Shane and I'd be in the top 5.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think it's the democracy thing to do, or whatever you call it. Not going to say I'm not a Democrat, but you know, it's the democracy.
It's a democratic process. There you go.
Exactly. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
All right.
Excellent.
Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for supporting the show. We really appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm getting myself in trouble here, Shane.
I don't think so.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, we're going through some things on this date in history. In 1924, on this date, J. Edgar Hoover was appointed director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the forerunner of the FBI, a job he held until his death in 1972, 50-some years, or almost 50 years, I guess, Shane. Wow.
Yeah, and over the years, we've always talked about him, but there's maybe something people didn't know.
Yeah.
So he left college with a law degree and got a job at the Justice Department. And then Woodrow Wilson set up are you ready for this, Division Alien Enemy Bureau.
All right. At
the beginning of World War I, and guess who they put in charge? Well, it was Hoover.
All right.
Under the 1917 Espionage Act, which people should refer to because they still use it to this day. Mm-hmm. And he compiled a list of 1,400 suspicious Germans living in the United States and had 98 immediately arrested and several hundred deported. So there you go. That's where we got this real beginning of the first Red Scare was our man Hoover. Our man
Hoover decided to get these folks out of here. So
yeah, that's right.
All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be right back right after this. 16 minutes for the top of the hour, Friday, May 10th, 2019, 36 degrees outside. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing. On the line from Vancouver, British Columbia, Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. In 1940, British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain resigned and Winston Churchill formed a new government in 1940, right at the precipice of World War II.
That's right. I mean, it's a sad thing. Historians believe that Chamberlain may be personally responsible for the debacle called the World War II. That was the Munich Accord that he signed in 1938 when he met with Hitler and conceded the central land of Czechoslovakia to Germany. And then, of course, Adolf Hitler invaded Poland on the 3rd of September 1939. But, they've got video. This is what's really great about video. There's all this video we're now seeing of all these people for the last 10 years saying stuff in politics. Yeah. But they actually have video of them coming off the plane in England, holding up a letter from, Hitler saying peace in our time.
Right, yeah.
And didn't work out that way.
Didn't work out at all that way, no.
The Munich Accord was in late 38 and within 3 or 6 months, the war began. So died at 71 of cancer and regrettably did not go down and will not go down in history as a great British prime minister.
No, he will not. 1941, speaking of Adolf Hitler's deputy, Rudolf Hess, parachuted into Scotland, and what he claimed was a peace mission, and I think wasn't he the only one in the prison for like 20 years or something like that? He was all by himself in there. They got this huge prison, and he's all alone.
17th of August, 1987. It died at the age of 93, and finally committed suicide. I mean, seriously, like, how do you?
What took him so long?
What took him so long? Wow, that's a big decision. No, but he was the propaganda minister. Yeah. And second in line to the Fuhrer, he was a deputy Fuhrer.
Yeah.
And but he was the first to abandon Hitler in 1940, as you said. He parachuted into Scotland, and they were glad to have him.
Yeah, they were. This date in 2002, this date in 1994. I'm sorry, the state of Illinois executed convicted serial killer John Wayne Gacy for the murders of 33 young men and boys. Buried him under his house. What a guy!
What a guy! Nothing else to say about that.
Yeah, yeah, he was a bad guy.
He really had issues.
Yeah. 2002, a 39-day standoff between Israeli troops and Palestinian gunmen at the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem ended with 13 suspected militants flown into European exile and 26 released into the Gaza Strip.
There you go. That's what they do.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Las Vegas Strip. It's
That's correct.
Entirely different place.
No gambling there.
No. Well, might gamble your life if you go in there.
Yeah, that's
wander around very much. In 2003, the New York Times announced that one of its reporters, Jason Blair, had committed frequent acts of journalistic fraud. And
plagiarism, baby, yeah.
What are they doing today?
It's really incredible because it wasn't just one or two, but it was over a half a dozen major articles that they wrote that were plagiarized. So that was the beginning of fake news.
There you are. 2005, Germany dedicated a national Holocaust memorial, finally. And in 2008, Jenna Bush, daughter of President George W. Bush, married Henry Hager at the Bush family ranch in Crawford, Texas. And on this date in 2010, President Barack Obama nominated Solicitor General Elena Kagan to the Supreme Court. So,
yeah, big surprise by a lot of people. She didn't have a lot of background as a judge. Mm-hmm. And she was the fourth woman to serve as a justice of the Supreme Court, attending Princeton University, University of Oxford, and Harvard Law School. So, well-educated woman, and still sits to this day on the SCOTUS Court.
Yeah. Well, birthdays on this date, David Selznick, he was a big film producer of the time. John Wilkes Booth was born on this date in 1838, died at the age of 26, and assassinated President Lincoln. Sir Thomas Lipton built the Lipton Tea Empire, died at 81, born on this date in 1850. And Fred Astaire, we mentioned earlier, born on this date in 1899, died at 88 in 1987. Maybelle Carter, American singer, songwriter, guitarist, 69 when she died, born on this date. And Nancy Walker, Rhoda's mom, I believe she played.
That's right.
Was born on this date in 1922, died at 69, and American movie and television actress. So there you go. So we'll take another break. We're going to come back with the things you got to know about Bozeman.
There you go.
There are a lot of them.
Mayor's hour.
There are a lot of them. Well, this will spill into the 7 o'clock hour more than likely because, well, one of the things is that stupid 443 acres of forest land is up in the news again. So we'll be back. We'll be back with more on that right after this. 8 minutes before the top of the hour, it is, what is it? It's Friday. Finally Friday. Wow. Thankfully. What do you think, Shane? It's Friday. I'm excited.
You should be. There's so much going on. Wow.
Oh, man, there is a lot going on. Well, as we all know, the Save Our Gallatin Front outbid a timber company to block logging of 443 acres of state trust land south of town for 25 years. But the governor has signed a repeal of that type of action, I guess, to find a different word. But the new law doesn't affect that deferral. The bill was backed by timber industry and passed by wide margins in the House and Senate. Bullock signed it despite the fact that the Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation Director John Tubbs lobbied against it at committee hearings in both the state House and Senate. And a Bullock spokesman said in an email that the DNRC opposed the bill during the legislature because of pending lawsuit filed by Save Our Gallatin Front in an attempt to reduce the price it would have to pay for the conservation license. And the lawsuit has since been withdrawn. So maybe this will put an end to the 443 acres. We won't have to talk about it anymore because apparently this bill doesn't protect that deal as a done deal. So we're going to move on, I guess, to other things. So, but I just thought it was interesting that this happened before the bill. You would think if there was a bill in place, we might have held off on that until the decision was made by the legislature and or signed by the governor. But apparently that's who cares? Well,
I think the group should fence it in and turn it into a wildlife refuge with paths for people to drive through to see those pesky wolves.
Yeah. Well, another on the farming front, Strike Farms, a major player in local agriculture, has halted business operations. They've been farming about 40 acres of land just outside Bozeman. Strike Farms grew organic produce for business and schools across the Gallatin Valley. They sold food at farmers markets, donated to Gallatin Valley Food Bank, and provided community-supported agriculture boxes, produce subscription service people can sign up for. So Owen and Dylan Strike said in a text message he couldn't go into detail about the reasons why the farm closed, but he plans to come back with a new business structure at a later date. So some employees have declined to comment, and at least one or more has filed wage claims that they weren't paid their final paycheck, according to the Department of Labor. So we'll see where that goes. I would assume the folks will get paid eventually, but and we'll see what the new business plan for Strike Farms is, if there is such a thing. Yeah. Let's take a call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So,
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you. So I've heard some statistics that refugees, illegal aliens, people coming to this country illegally are getting around $2,500 a month, which is $1,000 more than people get on their welfare for people that have
food
been
stamps
here
and things
paid,
like that. Yeah,
that have been here and paid taxes, and their families have fought in the wars. People coming to this country who probably hate this country, who cling on to their culture when they come here illegally, and they're getting like $1,000 more than people who are here, born citizens. It doesn't make any sense. It's not right.
Yeah. Well, I would agree with you there. Supposedly, they are not eligible for benefits, but a lot of the states have voted to give them benefits. I know California has. They give them housing. They give them food stamps. They give them a driver's license. They give them all kinds of stuff that, I don't agree with. I think if you're here illegally, you're breaking the law. And, you either need to apply correctly, get a green card or get a work permit or whatever it is, and, or go home or get out.
Yeah, exactly. And did Governor Bullock approve a bill to give illegal aliens in this state, I believe?
Well, I haven't heard of any bill like that passing. I'd be hard for me to believe that would pass a Republican legislature, but we could certainly check on that, find out, I guess.
Yeah.
But, we've been going through the bills, and I don't remember a bill about illegal aliens getting anything. We had Scott Sales on and Steve White on for a number of mornings, and I don't recall any bill. I think that would have been something we would certainly have talked about.
Unless you know how they piggyback thing.
Well, it could be, yeah, if it's a rider on a bill or something like that.
I hate this part of the bill, but I got to vote for it because of this and this and this.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and that's totally messed up as well.
Yeah, I know. I hate that too. Yeah. Well, I wish I had better information for you, but currently I don't. Maybe somebody out there can call in and let us know if there is such a thing on that, or if Bullock did sign or veto anything. He hasn't signed everything yet, I don't think, but there's still some things on his desk that are still coming in. So.
Just a travesty.
Yeah. Well, it is.
People who are here illegal, breaking our laws.
I know. Well, it's buying votes. That's all it is. It's buying votes. Well,
and the travesty too is it's more money than most people get for Social Security they paid into their entire life. The basic.
Exactly.
That too. Yeah. That too.
Buying votes and bankrupting our country.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the American way, huh?
Oh. Crazy.
It is crazy. Crazy gate, huh?
Yeah.
Crazy gate, baby.
Crazy gate. Well, thanks for the call. Very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Thank you. All right. Top of the hour coming up here. We got Fox News. We've got Montana State News. We got Brooke Foster weather. And, we'll be talking about more things, Bozeman, Montana. And then we'll go to the 5 things you need to know. And Jennifer Bordy will join us at 8 o'clock. And we'll see what she's got on her plate. So
there you go.
We got a lot to do today. It's finally Friday. So we're happy you're along with us to share that with us. So stay tuned. If you want to text the show, 478-8298, 478-8298, or give us a call at 522-TALK, 522-8255. We'll be back with more Morning Soapbox right after this. 7 minutes after the hour, it is Friday, May 10th, 2019, 38 degrees outside, and boy, we've got a caller waiting on the line, right, Shane? So Shane's been brainwashing him, so we'll see what the caller has to say. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, welcome to the Morning Soapbox. What's going on?
Oh, thanks for having me. Mark here.
Mark?
I'm concerned about border security. I think it's imperative that we build the wall. What are the chances that we actually go through with that?
Well, the New York Times and Chuck Schumer seem to think it's a good idea all of a sudden, and I think everybody who thought it was a manufactured crisis has reneged on that deal. So, he claims that a lot of it is being rebuilt and new is put in. I haven't heard much about he was declared the national emergency, and we haven't heard much about that, but the New York Times wrote an opinion piece, hey, give them the $5 billion for the wall. So
and he said that 450 miles will be completed before 2020, of which has either been rebuilt or added to the 2,000 miles. There's about, I think it's about 900 miles that has physical barriers, natural barriers with mountains and so forth. So it's not a big piece of fencing that he wants to put up, really. It's, they make a big deal out of it, but it's really not. But I think it'll get built. Of course it will. It has to be.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's better progress than I was aware of. So that makes me feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I think the very fact that Schumer and some of these other people have come out and, are a little more receptive to it, and where Schumer's even on Trump's bandwagon for China, stand tough on the tariffs there. So I think some of these people are realizing that this doesn't resonate well with the American people, that, the immigration is a serious situation when you've got the numbers that we've got crossing now into and somebody's going to have to take care of them. We're all going to have to pay for them and their medical and their school and everything else. And I think the American people are getting a little tired of it. Yeah,
we're going to have to stay strong in that trade war too, like you're saying.
Well, that too, yeah. I mean, what's the alternative? Do you have a major trade imbalance with China, or do we force them to play by the rules and or they pay a penalty?
Well, and it's actually a great deal. At this point, it's $62 billion. So on this run, your country will take in $240 billion in money from China this year. That's a good start. There you go.
Yeah. Now it does cause some pain to people. When you start doing tariffs with iron and steel and aluminum and soybeans and things like that. Some companies have absorbed this or have gone into, they saw it coming and acted accordingly. But, the farmer out there, he's kind of at the mercy of the commodities pricing. And so, it's tough. But, we hope in the long run that China will see the light and say, well, this is pretty stupid. We need America more than they need us. So we need to do something here.
Oh, righto.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thanks for having me on the line here.
All right. Happy to have you. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. All right. Well, let's see. The other thing, Shane, that we've got going on here is the Medicaid expansion was signed into law. And, of course, that's going to do another 6 years. It'll provide 95,000 low-income adults with health insurance. And bill will continue, began in 2016. And as long as the feds keep pumping money into it, we can afford it, I guess.
That's right.
I'm not sure how, but we can, apparently. So it would have ended on June 30th if the lawmakers hadn't reached the agreement. So these bills continue the progress our state has made in recent years to provide quality and affordable health care. And they also want to reduce costs and drug pricing and things like that. So we'll see how that works out as as this bill goes into effect, and so we've got more people covered again. So that's a good thing. So
that's a good thing.
Let's take another phone call. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
This is the old guy.
Hey, what's up, old guy?
Well, Colonel, down at the restaurant, everybody calls me Colonel Klink.
Oh, yeah?
You remember
right.
Colonel Klink?
I do remember Colonel Klink, yeah.
And Schultz, remember them?
Schultz, yeah.
Schultz.
I know nothing.
I see nothing.
Hey, weren't they something?
Yeah.
Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
What a program.
They're still on the air on 194, I think.
Well,
if you got cable, I think they're on 194, 193. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, they got all those old shows. Yeah.
Well, I liked them, and we don't have nothing like that anymore.
Well, that'd be politically incorrect today.
Well, sure it would. Same with Archie Bunker.
Oh, yeah.
Well, anyway, what I called about this morning is this. Now, Mr. Trump is having problems with China and North Korea, right?
Oh, yeah.
No.
And a little problem with Russia also.
No.
Well.
Okay. Well.
No. I say that to Clint, because the great thing about your president is that there's some words in his vocabulary he doesn't accept, and one is no.
Yeah.
Nothing else can't be done.
Well, I'm going to tell you what.
Trump's big word in his administration is just say yes, okay, and we'll move on.
Okay. Well, here's where the problem started. Anybody in the whole world can pick up a pipe fitting or whatever, or a dish or whatever, and duplicate it. Anybody with any amount of intelligence. Okay, so you're not really stealing intellectual property. But what made it easier for China to do this and other nations, we leased San Pedro. Do you know where San Pedro, California is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that there is the Chinese port. That's where they bring it. And who did that? Who did that, Shane?
Who let them buy it?
Yeah, they didn't buy it. They leased it.
Well, leased it. Yeah, that was Clinton.
That's right. Okay, now the problem started there. We allowed the Chinese to lease our ports. Now, have we got leases on their ports? No, we don't. No, we don't. So now what's that say to you? What does that say to you?
It's a free run, at least on the shipping side, and reduces costs.
Yeah.
Well, it reduces costs for China maybe, but it put our guys, some of our stevedores and longshoremen, the Chinese are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to lay the blame on all this mess on both parties, on the Republicans and more so on the Democrats because of Bill Clinton giving China most favored nation trade status.
Yep, the WTO blessing was a strange thing. I got it.
It was. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm looking at now, and I think everybody else should look at, we got China, and we got Russia, we got Iran, we got the world basically is in chaos with the big nations. And I'm a little bit worried about that. And I want to know what you two fellas think about what I just said. What is your feelings towards China, North Korea, Russia, Iran, Israel? Okay? What is your feelings? What is Trump doing right and what is he doing wrong? What is your opinion?
Well, I think the right thing he's doing, sanctions on Iran are really hurting them, and he piled a little more on them recently in the last week or so. We've got sanctions on Russia as well. North Korea, I think our issue with North Korea is more with China. China pretty
That's right, and Russia.
And Russia has some control over what North Korea does because North Korea just met with Putin not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the iron triangle of those groupies going on. So. Anyway, that would be my opinion. I think the tariffs are a good start to.
What does that do? What do you think the people of those nations think about us putting tariffs on them, do you think they really like us?
I doubt they even know that's happening.
I think they do.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. I've talked to a few people, and they do, and some of it's hurting them.
Yeah.
Now, what it's causing, I think it's causing hatred towards us.
Well, it could be, but it's business.
Yeah.
We're not in business. We hope people will like us, but
how can you like us?
I don't like Bezos all that much, but I still use Amazon.
But I've been over to China a time or two. I've been in Korea.
Yeah.
I've been all over the Far East.
Yeah.
But the thing is, those people think different.
Oh,
Most
they do.
people don't know that.
They do. That's a whole different culture. It's a whole different culture.
Well, you've been there, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sure. Yeah, that's the problem with these deals with China is because they have to save face.
That's right.
And that's hard to do when you're giving up, these tariffs.
That's right. Well, another thing is that Trump is doing, if this 25% tariff on the Chinese goods, guess who's going to pay for that? You and I.
Not really. No, you aren't, Clint.
It's going to raise our prices on a piece of pipe.
No, it's not going to happen, Clint.
You don't think so?
The amount of profits they're generating on all that garbage they're shipping from China is so great. Yeah. They're not going to raise prices. Number one. Number two, it's a fascist state. So it's the state. It's the government of China is paying these tariffs. Yeah. I mean, not indirectly, but I mean, they own all these companies. So what he's doing is thinking about 50 years from now. There's a new, industrial or technology revolution coming with AI. The car industry is going to change. We're going to talk about all these, Tom and I, all these things, and he knows what's coming, and he expects it, and he knows that he's got a plan to save the American worker for, in the next 50 years.
Yeah. Well, here's something I do know. You go down and buy a pipe tee from the local pipe dealer. If you did that about 6 months ago, you will find now that same pipe tee that's made in China is damn near double the amount of money. So that's
going to come back here. You're going to find with all this money coming back and all these corporations coming back. Again, one of the things Tom and I have talked about, like a lot of manufacturing in China, these facilities are 20, 30, 35 years old.
I know that.
So they either have to be upgraded or maintained, or someone's going to move somewhere else and build a new plant. So,
well, our corporations, a lot of them went to China, all right? Mm-hmm. They went over there because they could hire cheap labor. And now Trump is trying to bring them same companies back, whether it be in China or Pakistan or wherever, back to the United States because, would he lower the tax 20%? Was 35%?
Yeah, that's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah. So that's an incentive for the corporations to come back. Mm-hmm. But we still can't meet the worker. We cannot compete with their worker. Our workers are union wages, most of them, and of the steel industry, pipe industry, you name it. Okay, and they're paid a certain amount. Well, they're paying about 10 or 15 times more than what the corporation can get in China.
But Clint, the world is buying those products from America because they don't want to buy them from China.
Well, here's something that China's doing. They're selling their products not just to America. We got a big deficit with China, about $400 billion. Okay, but what they're doing is selling them same products that they sell us to other countries.
Sure.
A lot cheaper than they're selling them to us. And why? It's because of part of it's going to be worse because of these tariffs. Now, what I'm saying is it going to be a good thing for Trump or a bad thing?
No, I think it will be. I think it'll be a good thing. Yeah. Okay. If something's too expensive in the store, I don't need it.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, no. I'll give you another, for instance, here, and they talk about inflation and stuff.
Okay, real quick, because I got to take a break here.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just leave you with this here.
Okay.
I used to buy a candy bar for a nickel.
Yep.
Then it went to a dime, so that's 100% inflation, right? Now it's $1. How much is that? And don't tell me that the government can sit here and tell me and you and Shane that inflation's at 2 or 3%.
Well, wait. Let me ask you. When did you pay a nickel for that candy bar? What year?
Oh, I bought it in 1946.
Yeah.
Right, and there's been 2 to 3% inflation overall since then. So
that candy bar has inflated over 1,000% since 1946, and what it's done is weakened our American dollar. Takes more dollars, Shane, to buy anything. $70,000 for a damn truck.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I used to buy a truck. Used to buy them for $2,750 and 60 brand new 4-wheel drive 3/4 ton Fords. Yeah. I bought them brand new. Now that same truck, $60,000-$70,000.
Yeah.
Now,
what did a house cost in 1960?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We bought our farm for $10,000. Today it's worth over $1.5 million. So there you go. That's inflation.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Gotta go.
I just wanted to say that. Okay, guys.
All right. Hey, thanks, Lynn. We'll be right back. 24 minutes after the top of the hour. It is Friday, May 10th, 2019. 41 degrees outside. Shane Dobbin, half man, half amazing, on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. And our text line is running wild here, Shane. The definition of tariff insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Trump hasn't read history. Sad. Well, I think he probably has. Most tariffs last about 18 months before cooler heads prevail, at least in history. Trump did them, Bush did them, Obama did them. Bush 1 did them.
Yeah, that's right.
Clinton did them.
and keep in mind, the whole realm of the world trade is so expanded.
Yeah.
That for him to be able to make these deals, he's got to have cards to play, and this is a big card.
Yeah, it is. For the love of all that is good and holy, tariffs are not paid by China; they are paid by Americans, or must eat into American profits, and not necessarily.
That's a fallacy. Yeah, that's just a. That's just a democratic.
Yeah, I meet every once in a while with the business guys here in town. One of them has a business that they put the cafeterias and stuff in the high school, things like that. Big high-tech kitchens. Mm-hmm. And they're telling me that the aluminum prices and the steel prices and the stuff for all the metal stuff that goes into the kitchen, they haven't had a price increase for the tariffs because these guys have programmed it in, and they're eating it at the moment because they are waiting for a deal to be made. And I think that's what a lot of companies are doing. They're sitting back, they're taking a little less profit, and they're waiting for they're waiting for China to finally say, hey, okay, we give up, and let's have equal footing here for this trade balance and whatever.
And the market's showing that today it's only off 103 points, and that has a lot more to do with quarterly reporting that's going on or anticipated. The Dow is down 102, Standard & Poor's 13, NASDAQ 39. But you go across the world and you look at the overnight trading in Japan and China, and their markets are they're falling. You know what? They should get hammered. The way they've treated your country and my country for the last 30 years, I hope they get hammered because they've been wrong. They've been unfair and they've been wrong.
Well, yeah, and they don't want to give up that extra dollar, those extra dollars and everything. And it's, as I said, they've got to save face. From our text line, 478-8298, we were talking earlier about legal aliens getting all kinds of benefits and things like that. There was a bill to make it illegal for cities to become sanctuary cities, but Bullock vetoed that bill. And let's see. I love liberal protectionist tariffs. Americans paying more for goods is awesome. Only Trump can sell Republicans on more taxes. And there again, hey, there's pain in everything. But the end result, is what we're looking for.
Yeah, but it's a Democratic talking point. You and I both know that.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah,
it is.
No, you're right. Let's take a call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, Tom, Shane, it's Jerry.
Hey.
I don't know who the old guy thinks that's paying. He's mad that you're going to slap a 25% tariff on China. Well, we're paying it now. What difference does it make? I mean, it's just stupid to think somebody's happened to pay that, giving them stuff for free, and we're paying the bill.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the whole thing, That's why I say, which do you want? Do you want a massive imbalance of trade with China, where we're losing $800 or $900 billion a year?
Yeah.
Or do you want tariffs where they got to pay for the 320 million of the most affluent customers on the planet?
Yeah, and it'll level out anyway. They're like I say, they need our business worse than we need theirs.
That's absolutely right. And the other obvious argument to this is if the Democrats were right about tariffs hurting the American public, then why is the economy booming? Why are people going out and spending more money? Why are they buying more? Well, why are wages going up? Why are jobs growing? I mean,
exactly.
You can't look in the face of what he's accomplished and accuse him of something that isn't real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as you know, the media is just, doing anything and everything they can to destroy him because he's, making them look bad and they want the power, and he's trying to make America great again, as he says, and he's doing it.
Gotta go. Hey, thanks for the call.
Yeah, talk to you guys later.
All right,
okay,
thank you. 23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Friday, May 10th, 2019, 41 degrees outside. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing on the line with me, Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. From our text line, Trump and his poorly educated followers believe a trade imbalance is a bad thing and spending more and borrowing debt is a good thing. His liberal roots show, Shane.
Wow, that's amazing.
Tom, you've come a long way in 10 years when you used to be a total Milton Friedman free trader. And could Shane explain how Trump is going to save jobs 50 years in the future with all the automation going on?
Well, that's what I said. He's preparing for that, and that's why these talks are so important. Intellectual property is going to be the rule of the 21st century. Free trade and fair trade are going to be the rule for the trade routes in the future. And with what's going on in Europe and the EU and China, things can change very quickly politically in those countries and have a much greater devastating effect than in the U.S. economy.
Well, the other thing, too, if you want to go back 50 years ago when 20 guys had to dig a basement of a home, and now a guy does it in an hour with a backhoe, or people used to drive hammer and nails, now they have nail guns. They used to cut boards by hand, now they got skill saws. So it takes less people to build a home now than it did. And so automation, no question, it does eliminate some jobs, but those 20 ditch diggers went somewhere.
Yeah, and I have to qualify my answer as an analyst of economic growth and money, because I'm not an armchair economist, but as an analyst, there's certain markers, we talk about them all the time, that tell you what really is going on. So there's changes coming, they're significant, and there's got to be a rollover to maintain growth and employment anywhere, any country in the world.
Yeah. Let's take a call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Morning, Eagle Man.
Hey.
Hey.
Morning, Big Dog.
Oh,
hey, I got to correct you right off the bat, though, Tom. Shane doesn't really brainwash anyone. He presents them with the facts. They just can't handle the truth. That's really what's going on here. I wouldn't really call it brainwashing or propaganda, but on this tariff thing, don't you guys ever get tired of people calling in and acting like Trump doesn't have the wherewithal for his office, like he doesn't know what he's doing? In business, I'll bet he would. All of his critics, he'd defeat them all, just like he does the Democrat Party. He's got so many rhinos and so many problems in that swamp. Half of his own party's against him, the whole Democrat Party. And if you look at battle after battle, he manages somehow, some way to get his will accomplished, despite all the odds against him. And they act like this guy doesn't have a brain. Come on, that's just ridiculous.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the thing that drives him, because of his background in business, is he's a problem solver. And that's why I overcame all the assaults and everything, because what he did is he works all the time about looking at problems and how to solve them. And things he can't solve, like when you go home on a Friday night from job, nothing you can do about it till Monday morning, right?
Yeah.
So, don't think about it. But, he's a problem solver, and that's why he's survived everything he's been through the last 2 years.
To make these comments with tariffs are ineffective, they never work. Do people even understand what he's trying to accomplish? Tariffs in and of themselves aren't going to accomplish anything. It's a quid pro quo. It's a device, just like sanctions, just like boycotts. It's to get somebody to the bargaining table.
Exactly.
People need to wake up and have a few more neurons firing in their head.
Yeah.
Because the only alternative is a total meltdown where communication stops.
Yeah.
We've been so taken advantage of by other countries for so long, and they're going to continue to unless Trump does something drastic. Tariffs aren't an end unto themselves. They're a means to get them to the negotiating table. And you got boycotts, sanctions, or like I say, a total failure to communicate, like in Cool Hand Luke,
Yeah.
So
That's a very good analogy.
He's chosen tariffs as the means by which we can bring China to the negotiating table. God, I wish Democrats had a few more IQ points.
Yeah.
All
right, man.
One, guys.
Good call. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. 15 minutes for the top of the hour. It's May 10th, 2019, 41 degrees outside. Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing, on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. And, our text line's still rocking and rolling, Shane. Thank God for automation so we can feed, clothe, and house more people, more safely than ever before in history. Sorry about that. Let's see. Trump has dozens of failed businesses. The only place he succeeded is selling condos and golf memberships to millionaires. He sucks at economics. Well, I don't think he achieved the status he has by sucking at economics. I don't think you make the Forbes billionaire list doing that, but what do I know? I really appreciate the caller who talked about border security. It's absolutely essential in order to ensure the safety of our country. Trump has truly made America great again.
And Tom, can I just remember 4 years ago when he was running for president, and you and I had a conversation over several weeks about the fact that if he accomplished what he's talking about, like increasing the economy and getting it going again, and you and I said, my gosh, all these people that were returning to their countries because the economy was so bad, you'll need a fence to keep them out because it'll be good, right?
Well,
amazingly enough, folks, that's exactly what happened.
From our text line, 478-8298, what does Trump expect China will do at the negotiating table? Stop selling us inexpensive products so we can buy expensive American-made ones? Well, let's make it more competitive for American products. How about that? My brain is now bright, shiny, and squeaky clean. Thanks, Shane. There you go. Let's see. Trump is the best salesman in the world simply by placing an R in front of or next to his name. He sold Republicans on tariff and debt. What a salesman. Well, what's the alternative? Do you want to go back to an imbalance of trade where, you're paying, where people are being forced out of America overseas because of cheap products coming in here? So tariffs are paid by Americans, are eaten by company profits. The builders and companies are paying the taxes. Ask Bridger Steel. Yeah, but hopefully they won't have to pay them forever. So that's the issue. All right, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Good morning, guys. It's Triple B.
Hey.
Builder Barry from Bozeman.
All right.
Hey, I just wanted to chime in, bring a little positivity to the conversation. There's a lot of negativity coming your guys' way, and people complain about Donald Trump, but if you look back at the past presidents, what are the most things that people complain about? How dry and how much they lied about what they were going to actually do. This president, if I watch him speak, I can get a good laugh out of him every single time. He's probably one of the funniest presidents that I can remember in my lifetime, anyway. And I'm not as old as some, but I'm kind of up there. Mm-hmm. It's just entertaining to watch the guy. I just love to watch him speak because he has a sense of humor that a lot of people just do not get. They can't grasp how he jokes, how he makes fun of things and himself.
Yeah. How many politicians would call somebody Sleepy Joe or
exactly.
Or Beto? What happened? What happened to Beto? He fell like a rock.
Yeah, would you rather have a president that gets up there and throws out lawyer terms that you can't understand? You can't stay awake listening to him.
Yeah.
And this president, my wife just laughs at me all the time because I watch him talk and I just laugh all the time because he makes jokes. People don't get it.
And I love the crowd.
It's a lot of fun.
One of my favorite days of the year is the 1st of July because the Americans celebrate better than anyone in the world. May 1st around the world when I was growing up was Socialist May Day, right, with all the army parades and everything. But the 1st of July is fireworks and music and Americans cheering, and that's what I love about his rallies. Everybody's happy, they're cheering, they're having a good time.
Yep, good time. I went to the rally here in Bozeman, a lot of positive energy, and it's the same stuff. I mean, you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch all the videos. Oh, yeah. It's pretty much all the same. But just the energy of the crowd, the people that were there just were in a good mood. The protesters were the only ones there with scowls on their faces. It was just a good bunch of people, and everyone was having a good time. There's no negativity. It's just a fun president. He's just a fun president, I think. So
I agree. He's entertaining as hell. We're happy to have him. I hope we get him for another 4 years, and we can't wait for the debates. The debates are going to be great.
Getting people involved in politics just with the way that he is. I mean,
I think so. I think he's brought a lot more people into politics, either 100%. Positively or negatively, than any other president in my lifetime.
Yeah. Oh, by a long way.
Yeah.
My kids are involved, and I never thought that would happen. I'll tell you that.
There you go. All right.
Guys.
Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Let's see, from our text line, Trump wants to make America 1950 again, get people back on those assembly lines and products, more expensive, more tariffs, less China, make America great again. Well, you can beat that horse, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to get up anytime soon. Trump's 500 some odd business enterprises and about 12 failures. That's a better success rate than any politician has out there. So there you go. So,
well, I have to ask you, did you see Giuliani on Ingram last night? I mean, we were so ahead on this Hunter Biden story until
I'm way asleep before Ingram ever shows up.
Well, you think that what we talked about Hunter Biden the last few days is bad? You wouldn't have believed what Giuliani said about him. Oh my gosh, when that gets out to the mainstream, it was unbelievably devastating for Biden, his son. Whoa, wow. Whoa.
All right, we got to take one more call, then we got to take a break. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, guys. It's Steve.
Hey, Steve.
I just can't help but observe the text you get.
Yeah.
It seems like the other side only has the capacity to attack the individual and not the ideas. So,
I agree. Yeah, it's he's orange. He's got funny hair. He's got he's fat. He's old. He's whatever. But yeah,
well, it really makes me sad. It goes back to that conversation we always have about the education system and how uninformed these people are to the point that they can't even think critically. They can only attack because they don't like them or they disagree because they've been taught wrong. And it's just really disappointing to hear these texts come through. And I think these are the people that I live next to every day and work with, and these people surround me. And they're so unintelligent, the best thing they can do is say, Trump's a jerk.
Yeah.
And not look at the real evidence that, hey, no, he's doing good things.
Well, anyway, he's either a total buffoon or a certified genius. So take your pick. I don't think there's any middle ground.
Man, what happened to gray area?
I know. That's Biden. Biden's gray area.
I just want to make that quick comment, guys. Keep that in mind. You get these texts. These people are just attacking the individual and not the idea. If you can't talk about the idea,
keep your mouth shut.
There you
Have
go.
a good one, guys.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll be right back. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. Friday, May 10th, 2019. 41 degrees outside. Shane and Tobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, and from our text line, Shane, 478-8298, Liberal Logic 101. When you can't win an argument with facts, attack the person. Let's see. After Obama, I think the Communist Democrats need to go to the back of the bus and shut up about the debt. Liberals love protectionist tariffs like union wages, like union wage fixing. In the end, Americans pay more for less. We can compete with China wages if we tariff them. And there you are. So, Jennifer Bordy's in the house. How you doing, man?
Good,
young lady. There you are. Get you plotted up here. Get your mic down there. Yeah. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you on the air. What's going on?
Hey, guys, it's Mayor.
Hi.
I'm listening to all this Trump bashing from our liberal frenemies, and, let's remember something about Obama.
Yeah.
First of all, he never would release his grades. Yeah. He never created a job. He never made a payroll. He smoked weed. He did cocaine. And, they're sitting there talking about the character of Donald Trump. And I remember, some of these press conferences that Obama would hold, which was very, very few. And the questions he would be asked, he'd go on, and like after 20 minutes, you'd go, what did he say?
Yeah.
Or you'd go, what? It made no sense. And so they want to go back to, any of these guys that are running for office now on the Democratic side, how many of them have accomplished anything compared to what Donald Trump has accomplished? Yeah. Has any of them had multi-million or billion-dollar corporations? Have they made a payroll? Have they created jobs? And they're talking about, how we have to, bring the middle class back. Back to what?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want any of these Democrats in that have never created a job or made a payroll because they don't know what it takes to run a business. It's hard work, it's dedication, it's sacrifice, it's not knowing what's going to happen around the corner, and still plugging along and hanging in there.
Amen to that.
So I think some of these people need to take a look at, what are the Democrats really bringing to the table in 2020? Have they talked about the economy? Have they talked about foreign policy? Have they talked about any of the things that affect you and me? Not one of them. The only thing they talk about is impeach Trump. Impeach, impeach, impeach. That's all we hear. I want to hear something about what's going to happen to the country and what's going to happen to the American people.
Well, I think when the debates start, I think that's when we'll hear that. But until then, it's going to be all impeach, impeach, impeach till then. So.
Yeah, because it's like they can't beat them on policy. They can only beat them in some shady backstabbing bull crap.
All right.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Ho ho ho.
Thanks for the call, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy. All right. All right, we got to take a break here. Jennifer Bordy's in the house. She's got all her paperwork in front of her. I see her law smile tingling. She's ready to rock and roll this morning. So we'll be back with Jennifer right after the news at the top of the hour. Hey, don't forget our KMMS app, AM 1450 KMMS. You get alerts. You get all kinds of stuff there. You can listen to Shane and Tom anytime you want. We record all of our shows. We got over 700 downloads so far of our shows. So, pick one. We got descriptions of what we talk about each hour. So go over there and pick a show. They're all commercial free, too. That's the good thing. So, yeah, you don't have any breaks and stuff to sit through. We'll be right back with Jennifer after this. 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, it's Friday, May 10th, 2019, 41 degrees outside. Shane and Tobin, half man, half amazing on the line with me from British Columbia, and Jennifer Bordy in the house. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor, and welcome, Jennifer. Thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
So today, it used to be when I started the show way back in 95, and I got this newspaper called Lawyers Weekly, and a bunch of other newspapers that I then had kids and don't have time to read anymore, so I don't get them. But they always had an interesting blurb, sort of like USA Today, about something going on in every state.
Yeah.
And so I used to love to, once a month even, I would do what's going on around the country. But now I just do it very sporadically. Well, today's the day.
We're going to do stuff around the country,
Yeah, every now and then you like to just look at a smorgasbord of legal stories, what's going on.
Okay. 20 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It's Friday, May 10th, 2019. Shane Tobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. And Jennifer Bordy, law babe in the house. And, well, we're Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor. We're talking about cases.
All right, what's going on around the country?
Yeah, different cases happening here and there.
So as far as Montana law goes, yes, we have the dram shop laws where you can sue a bar or bartender for serving a visibly intoxicated person or even someone under the age of 21. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have a chance to look at those criminal laws for serving under the age of 21. It may be it's also contained there that you can't serve a visibly intoxicated person. So I still have to get back to everybody on that one and let you know what the law is in Montana. Mm-hmm. But at any rate, we do have the dram shop laws for civil liability. But I said there were some extraordinary circumstances attendant to this particular case. And this bartender apparently did think she was serving an overly intoxicated person, or at least a dangerous one, because he apparently displayed a knife and said he spun a big knife on the bar and he pulled a gun from his waistband at the bar.
Wow.
And she called a coworker and said, "What do I do?" And the coworker said nothing. And apparently the coworker called the owner of the bar, who said do nothing. And then this bartender, the one that's been charged, actually followed the guy. And so when she heard gunshots inside the house that she followed, she's the one that called 911. So it's a little interesting that she's been charged with serving the guy, but at least did take some action that you would not expect, really, to happen. But she followed him. She's the one that reported it to 911 when she heard shots.
Must have been after closing,
Didn't help much.
I guess. Huh?
Yeah, didn't help much.
Yeah, apparently
because
not.
he killed, I think, 8 people altogether. His wife.
Say must be a full house of folks there.
Yeah, his estranged wife and 7 other people attending a party at her home.
Wow.
So. Ouch.
He wasn't invited to the party, probably.
Apparently
which is
not.
Upset.
Estranged, not necessarily ex. Okay, this is one where probably everybody at first is going to go, "Oh, yay," because it involves a lawyer whose identity was stolen, but stolen to hurt people.
Okay.
And the reason why this made me look into the broader topic is because the particular scam that this lawyer in Florida, this one's in Florida, his identity was stolen for was to scam people who had listed timeshares to sell. Now, I looked at the FBI. I tried to look at the FBI's. I thought there was a list of the top 10 scams from the FBI. There's not just 10. There is a list of well-known scams.
Yeah, there's a lot of scams. Yeah.
But I thought timeshares was on a list of 10 because it's a huge industry, as we all know.
Right.
And it's not to say that a lot of people, in fact, the vast majority, I think the statistics are about 80% of people love their timeshares, use their timeshares, but there is a growing population of people who either can't afford the maintenance fees, don't end up using them, get too old to use them, get too sick to use them, die and leave them for their kids who don't want them. I mean, there's a whole range of reasons why people don't want their timeshares anymore. They try to list them themselves. And that kind of market, the secondary market for timeshares, is not very lucrative.
Everybody's looking for a real bargain.
Yeah. In fact, you can probably buy some timeshares on eBay for like $1.
Yeah.
But don't forget that then you have to pay the yearly maintenance fees.
You got the maintenance and all the other
usually
fees that go with
transfer
it.
fees. There's transfers associated with just changing title. In fact, most timeshares are real property, not all, but most. And so, yes, there's fees, all kinds of things attendant to transferring them, along with not only the maintenance fees, but other yearly fees that can be imposed, special fees, etc. So, and then, of course, you have the cost of getting there, which it actually is a good way to take a vacation, provided it's either somewhere you like to go a lot or it's one you can trade for other places, which most are, but not all. And so there's a lot of problems there, but then the secondary market creates its own problems. And so it's a huge scam. A lot of times people will call you, your name is on a list of timeshare owners. They'll call you and say, if you pay me $1,000, I swear I can sell your timeshare for you. They pay the $1,000 and nothing ever happens. So it's a huge scam, upfront fees. And by the way, that's on the FBI list in general, upfront fees for all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it's not just timeshares. And I guess that's why it's not on the list by itself like I thought it might be. Yeah. But anyway, so somebody, actually a ring of people, stole this lawyer's identity and a couple realtors as well. And they would call people that had already listed their timeshares and say, if you send me $1,000 or $750 or whatever, then I can sell your timeshare. And so this lawyer found out because the state bar actually called him and said, there's been complaints about you taking money and not doing anything. He's like, it isn't me. And they determined that his identity had been stolen. Yeah. And so they were able to catch the guy, though, because, or at least one of them, and then he turned on a couple others in the ring. But one woman had called, some of them actually called the lawyer directly. They found his name in the phone book and would call him. And so one lady that did that agreed to act in a sting operation. So when she sent the money, they were able to find the guy that came to pick it up. And so that they made an arrest that way. And the guy was sentenced to 84 months in jail. So that's 7 years.
Yeah.
Right? 8 years, whatever. So,
84 months is 7 years.
7 years. I was right the first time. Yes, I used to be able to do math like that in my head. I'm old now. Anyway, so
me too.
So there was a happy result, I guess, although obviously the guy's never going to be able to pay back all the money. He was ordered to pay several $100,000 in restitution. But obviously he's not going to pay him while he's in prison either. So, so kind of a happy result, kind of not. I mean, it's nice that that particular person and a couple other people in his ring are not going to be doing it to other people. But at any rate, it does raise, and you see it all the time. Who doesn't get the scam emails? And it turns out Nigeria really is a hotbed of it. Because it's like all these Nigerian people, or I am the trustee of some trust, or the personal representative of some estate. Or something. If you just send me, money, I'm going to give you $1 million.
Right. Yeah.
And people fall for that.
They do. I know.
Especially
hard to believe,
the more senior citizens and other incapacitated people or disabled people in one way or another. So people fall for that. They fall for, you would think you would know your own grandchild's voice, but maybe not.
Yeah. I'm in jail in Mexico.
Exactly. Or Texas.
You got to send me something.
Send me some money. Yeah. So here's the list of scams that the FBI has put together. And as I said, one of them is advanced fee schemes, whether it be to sell your timeshare or whatever else. And unfortunately, they don't really give good examples. But for a loan, a contract, investment, or gift, and then you don't receive anything in return.
Right, yeah.
So now this is not on the list, but this is one I've run across here in Bozeman. Well, I don't know if it's here in Bozeman, but I'm in Bozeman. And for example, when I list renting rooms in my house on Craigslist, I get all of these. And the first time I didn't realize it was a scam until it started to get suspicious, where all these people will email you, oh, they're interested, but they're out of the country right now. They're not available by phone. And so at first they would engage me back and forth, and then they would say, and I'll send you a check for X amount. And by the way, can you also store my car for me or something else? And after a while, I got the idea, okay, this isn't quite kosher. So I did call the police, and I'm like, what is this? How can this be a scam? And the thing is, what they do is they send you money. They'll send you a cashier's check. And believe it or not, there are ways to cancel it. So that's one thing that may happen. Also, if they pay through PayPal, they can reverse it within 30 days.
PayPal,
But the main part is they do send you a cashier's check, you deposit, and then they say, oh, I need some money back. So you send it back, and then they cancel the cashier's check.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Don't do it. And so anybody that says they're not here when you advertise something on Craigslist, then say, okay, then I'll deal with someone that's here. And in fact, start putting in your ads that locals only or checks only or something like that.
There you go. All right, we got a duck adder, pay a couple bills. Fox News, Montana State News, Brooke Foster Weather, Northwest Ford Dealers, SouthwestHelpModded.com, and Jennifer Bordy, and all that coming up. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. 22 minutes before the top of the hour, one of Jennifer's favorite songs by Circle, Red Rubber Ball. Thank you for being here, Jennifer.
One hit wonders, I believe.
Probably
Although
was.
the song was written by Paul Simon.
Yeah, so there you are.
A young Paul Simon.
Well, we're talking about scams, FBI scams, so we're going through some of those to alert the public that we've got scams out there that...
They are constant.
They are,
It is.
yeah.
It's more than just spam email. I mean, there's phone calls. There's, in fact, the jail one. I need bail money wouldn't work except by phone. Mm-hmm. I don't think.
Yeah.
So at any rate, but yeah, bombarded, and so at any rate, so yeah, it's really important actually to look at this list of scams. Probably most people that listen to this program are not really susceptible to it, but just in case, and we probably all have a relative. I know I have. Yeah. I do have a disabled relative that is very susceptible, or it's maybe more like she sends all her money for HSN stuff, but
yeah.
But in a way, that's a scam too.
yeah. So, buy this comforter, $900.
Another big scam on the FBI list, though, is counterfeit prescription drugs. Now, just so you know, it is against the law to also sell counterfeit drugs in Montana. I think most states have that law now. Mm-hmm. It was based on a case many moons ago, at least decades ago at any rate, where somebody sold sugar for cocaine or flour. I don't remember what they sold, but at that time it wasn't a crime to sell a fake drug, but the person got arrested and charged, and then they did the test, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. This is not an illegal substance, but it is now a crime to sell something representing that it's a drug.
Fake Viagra or fake whatever. Yeah.
And it happens with even prescription drugs, obviously. And not only is that illegal, but if you take a fake prescription drug, it's probably going to be hazardous to your health. Yeah. So that one's got even more repercussions. I mean, if you smoke sugar, I don't think anything's going to happen. But if you take a fake prescription drug thinking it's your prescription or what you wish was your prescription, it can be bad for you.
Sure, yeah.
All right, credit card fraud, who doesn't know about that? But that, of course, is the unauthorized use of a credit card or debit card. It often is somebody you know or a family member. And if it's not that situation, then you're probably talking about identity theft.
Yeah.
So, or it could be a stolen card and somebody's using the card itself. But that's a big one to look out for. I often, actually, mostly because I'm so susceptible just to losing things, like I have left my purse all over the country, but have always gotten it back with everything in it. Amazing, huh? At any rate.
So you change your numbers every once in a while, do you?
Well, I do, but so almost on a daily basis, though, I check my credit cards at night to make sure they're still in my wallet.
They're still there, right?
And it's not even because I think someone will steal them, but I will lose them. So it's not a bad idea. And then as far as my identity, I often say, if you want it, take it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to sell it to you for cheap too, but anyway.
Yeah, the wife went out to a bar, lunch with some friends, and it was probably a week later she went to use her card, couldn't find it, and we determined that was the last place she used it, so we went into the bar. And the gal behind the bar pulls out the stack of credit cards, and she's thumbing through them. There must have been about 10 or 15. And found hers and gave it back to her. So,
another one too, though, anymore is I lost my driver's license 1 week before I'm getting on a plane, so in desperation, I had to have my birth certificate overnighted because I couldn't get a new driver's license in time back then, and about 3 or 4 months later, the bowling alley at the university calls me at the university center. I'd left my driver's license there. It's like, oh yeah, I went bowling with my kids the week before, and but it's like you could call me earlier. But that's not something that you can just get new numbers. Was the point? So if you lose your driver's license, that can be used obviously for identity.
That's true. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. It is 15 minutes for the top of the hour. Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor in the house. Shaman Tobin, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia, and law babe Jennifer Bordy in the house. And we're talking about scams.
We are.
Yeah.
And the next one on the FBI list is just a group of people, which we've already talked about a little bit, as opposed to a particular scam, and that's fraud against seniors, because they are a particularly susceptible group, and especially scams that may target their savings. And again, it's usually going to be the you pay me X amount and you'll get more. And so always, never, actually. I think I can say a hard and fast rule, never agree to anything like that.
Yeah.
Never.
Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you're on the air with Jennifer. What's up?
Well, what's up? Same old stuff. Stars, planets, and the sun.
You're a scam operator, as we all know.
No, but I'm surprised, Thomas, that you didn't bring up probably one of the. I don't know. I think it's worse than these other guys that are online or on your phone or whatever. But you know, when you're scammed by your bank, I think that's. Should be up there at the top of the list, and because I'm talking about Wells Fargo.
Oh,
yeah.
Just the fact that they release personal information, or what's scammed by Wells Fargo?
Well, they had quotas. The employees had quotas they had to make, so they signed people up for credit cards that didn't sign for it, and other services that people never signed up for.
And they had a mortgage thing going on too, there, Tom. And I don't remember exactly how that worked.
Yeah.
But, when you can't trust your banker, because I suppose we should never trust a banker, but...
or your spouse. I got to throw that one in. Like when you get solicitations for credit cards in the mail and you don't know you've got a credit card because your spouse responded and had the bill sent to a P.O. box.
Yeah, there you go.
We will not say whether that one is based on personal experience or not.
Who hasn't done that?
But anyway.
I had dealings with Wells Fargo when I first moved here 36, 37 years ago, I don't know which, and I dumped them. And I made a big stink right in the lobby of the bank, made them get the bank manager out the whole 9 yards. And I wasn't whispering, you know what I mean? And I told him, I said, here's the deal. I said, I'm closing the account right now. Bang, done. I'm out of here. I'll never do business with you again. There's people standing around.
But you're right, Pete, that generally banks are not on this list because it's not anticipated that most of them engage in wholesale scams. So,
sure.
But you're right, it's not on the list. That's for sure.
They're involved in wholesale theft. But they're involved in. But anyway, that's my thought. I mean, those guys, they know better.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's your bank.
Yeah.
Kind of like your lawyer or your doctor. You expect that you can trust them, but you can't.
All right.
Anyway,
Thanks for your call.
Well, you called it an opportune time, Pete, because Monday morning, Tom and Shane National Trust is going to open downtown Bozeman.
Are you going to have a money market account?
We'll have money market accounts just for you.
Whoa!
All right. Here's a couple.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
Here's a couple I was surprised to find on the list. I had not realized it, although, yes, I see commercials all the time. I get emails all the time about cosmetics and anti-aging products. But that is apparently, or can be, some are obviously legit, but probably not very many. But that's a huge scam that has made it in and of itself onto the FBI list. So that, and here's the one I was really surprised to see. Funeral and cemetery fraud. Who knew that?
Yeah.
But, yes, there are prepaid funeral plans out there. I get solicitations for them all the time, but we know that both of our local funeral places are very reliable and trustworthy. But apparently that wouldn't be true everywhere. And so you've got to watch out for prepaid plans. And they are quite often regulated by the state, but just so you know, apparently it is bad enough to get on your list. And the funny thing is, how would you ever find out if you've been scammed on that? When you prepay for a cemetery plot, you're not going to know till you died that you didn't get it. It's like,
Hearst pulls up and, well, sorry, this is,
whoops,
you're at Macy's.
Then your family has to deal with the fact, I guess. But at any rate, also healthcare fraud, health insurance fraud, which is not surprising to me in light of what's gone on with healthcare in the last decade or so. That there is a lot of, and I get those emails as well. That, hey, are you happy with your healthcare? We can give it to you for pennies or whatever. So obviously identity theft
and
is
a whole
on
bunch
their
of
list.
stuff. You'll get a whole bunch of extra stuff.
Yep. Identity theft is a big one. It's probably the one that's grown the most in proportion to the growth of the internet because of the availability of hacking and leaks and all of that good stuff. And we read about that almost daily. Facebook or Wells Fargo, or I can't even think of some of the others right now, but they're not the only ones where they were hacked or somehow leaked all this private information. Or sold it. In the case of Facebook, I believe they sold it to that place in England. I can't think of the name of it right now. But at any rate, so that's bad. But that's the bottom line of what could happen. The place in England used it for political purposes to do political ads. But at any rate, that's a huge one.
Cambridge something.
And in some cases, that was it. And in some cases, it can take a person years.
Cambridge Analytics,
to clear their name or not have all of their bank accounts and property levied upon because somebody got a judgment against them thinking they were the person who incurred some debt and then didn't pay. So that one's huge, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, we got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
We got to get the Rush update in here. Here's Rush. All right, almost time to say goodbye. And
yeah, that's a good one that you haven't played before.
Shane, are these common scams in Canada as well?
Well, I think they pretty much are. I don't think there much changes. The only thing is that social networking and the internet has only enhanced it.
That's absolutely true. Yep, and that's a lot of the problem. In fact, there are more types of scams based on the internet now on this list than any other type. So,
But what I would like to say is, or ask rather, Jennifer, about the first block and her comments about people representing themselves. I think one of the biggest problems in both our countries is that judges are very uncomfortable by it because they have guidelines that they have to act as an advocate to someone who's that's representing themselves. And so it does create an issue.
The judges have to act as an advocate for someone who's representing them?
Well, don't they have to protect them? Don't they have to protect that person?
No. That's part of why they go into that whole colloquy, which is that, hey, if you represent yourself, you are expected, for example, to know the rules of evidence. The judge is not really going to help them there. Other things.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Exactly. All of that. So, no, the judge does not become an advocate for that person. They may give them a little bit more leeway than they would, say, a lawyer.
Or ask them if would you object to that or something like that.
Do you want to object now? Hint, hint.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure.
But no, they don't treat them any differently than for the most part, than they would a lawyer. They don't become an advocate. A judge would never, should never, I guess I'll put it that way, become an advocate. And by the way, in my opinion, I think the worst thing about Canadian law, don't they still wear wigs in court?
No, they don't.
Oh, that's good. I thought they did still. I saw that on Murder, She Wrote once. I know they still do in England.
Yeah, think they... From our text line, about a year ago, to avoid robocalls, I started screening all calls. Any call that's not in my contact list goes to voicemail, and maybe I'll call them back. It's worked great. I also changed my voicemail to explain that if you don't leave a message, I will not call you back. And on Dram Shop, being a bartender and a female, I had many drunk person demanding to be served alcohol and had fellow male co-worker and bar owner serve them and ignored my concerns. Some same drunks were repeat offenders in Gallatin County. So there's some of that. From our earlier topics, to be clear, we're borrowing billions from China to subsidize farmers who are losing billions in a trade war because Trump is an economic ignoramus, and no, that's not true at all. And who doesn't understand trade or markets, and his psychopaths won't tell him he's wrong. Okay, well, if only we had more time to talk about those things. Say goodbye, Shane.
Goodbye, Mayor. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy Mother's Day to all those wonderful mothers out there. And as always, be happy, be safe.
Absolutely. Thanks, Shane. All right. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to me, to all the great moms out there.
Hopefully I'm on that list.
You're on that list. And all you other mothers, you have a nice weekend, too. So Jennifer and I'll be back in, Jennifer will be back
I won't
in 2 weeks.
Here next week.
Jennifer will be back in 2 weeks, so we'll see her then. And until then, hey, we'll see everybody bright and early Monday morning, 6 a.m.